So, Governor, you had a chance to sit in and listen to one of your fellow candidates for office running, and you've got your own ideas. And I would like to essentially offer the floor to you to be able to answer the very broad question of what are your thoughts about what we can do to help Social Security remain solvent for the next several decades.
Well, thank you, and I'm glad to have a chance to be here with AARP in New Hampshire. I'm glad to be back in New Hampshire. This is, I think, my 15th trip to New Hampshire this year. So sooner or later, I'm going to meet everybody, and that's obviously the... I have a few notes that I made for myself. Instead of just freelancing this thing, there are some things I want to say to you that I don't want to miss, so I've added a few notes. Look, Social Security, the obvious ultimate goal is to make means and ends match, to make the thing balanced, to make sure that the benefits and the revenue to support it balance. That's what you have to do. So as a result of that, you're seeing a lot of candidates for President of the United States that are going to the standard thinking about Social Security and the fixes, which I happen to believe end up being very temporary. So for one thing, for example, there's the idea of raising the retirement age. Governor Bush just said that, as a matter of fact. You know, I'm fairly cool to that. I think I could be persuaded as president that because there seems to be a growing consensus that maybe raising the retirement age is fair. Governor Christie said he wanted to raise the retirement age. I'm not committed to that. Second of all, the means testing. I think there was a hint of, or some statement about means testing with Governor Bush. Governor Christie says he wants to mean test Social Security. I want y'all to know how I feel about this. I think means testing Social Security is immoral. I think it's wrong. I think it's wrong for somebody to start off when they're 16 years old, when they don't have anything the way I did. My father was a meat cutter. My mother was a secretary. My first job was in a grocery store, making minimum wage at that time, which was pretty small. And I got my check, and this thing was in there called FICA. And I said, who's this guy FICA taking money out of my paycheck? I've worked my whole life, and so has everybody else in this country. And now to divide up people who have had success and people who haven't, and to treat them differently with Social Security, I think is wrong. I'm just telling you. That's what I think. Third of all, people will say things like, well, you've got to cap off the income. Well, yeah, okay, but then you're going to end up paying more benefits, obviously, to the people who pay more money unless you treat people unfairly. Private accounts, that might have some possibility. That could work because that gives you the advantage of growing with the economy. But what happens when you have a great recession? It takes the security piece down a little bit. So that's the challenge there. It's probably the better idea of all this. And then finally, you can just do what Bernie Sanders says. Just increase the benefits and figure where the money's coming from. Well, we know where it's coming from. Bernie Sanders is going to raise taxes on everybody in order to pay for it. Because Bernie Sanders is a socialist. And he thinks he's entitled to all the money that everybody makes everywhere in the society because he's a socialist. Well, I'm not. I'm a conservative Republican. I don't believe in those kinds of approaches. So here's my answer. My plan is to grow the economy, to absolutely grow the economy. We today have a slow growth economy. We're growing at about 2%, which is under the historic mean right now. And Social Security, ladies and gentlemen, is supported not by all these fixes that I've just derided. It's supported by a robust economy. People don't tell you that, but it's absolutely the absolute truth. Productivity and investment is what creates more opportunity and makes it possible for a smaller body of workers to support a larger body of retirees. And today, Obama, the president, has put forward a program which consistently over the last 8 years has hurt growth of the economy and the opportunity for businesses to grow. Bonus depreciation allowed to expire. A tax provision called 179, which gave the opportunity for more and more investment, eliminated or reduced. Longer depreciation, capital gains taxes increased, Obamacare, which has become a drag on the growth of businesses everywhere, and regulations like Dodd-Frank that make it harder to get money loaned to them. This is a consistent, deliberate effort to slow the economy, and it is wrong. We have to build up the economy and to get real growth going. And by the way, the result of this is one of the lowest labor participation rates in the history of the country. Well, ladies and gentlemen, who's paying all that FICA? Higher labor participation. Today we have low labor participation. So I wanted to tell you that. By the way, there are more failures in businesses today than startups as a result of these kinds of policies. Who's going to pay all the Social Security payroll taxes? Hillary Clinton came in here in April 2015 of this state and said she was surprised because she heard that small businesses were failing at a higher rate. What does she think? Because of the policy that she and the president have been putting into place. So this is what I believe. Number one, if you have low wages, you have less money being paid. Number two, if you have part-time workers and we're at an all-time high, they're paying less Social Security. If you have bad career starts, those people are supposed to be paying FICA their whole lives, or they're going to be paying on a lower wage base because of the lousy economy and the bad starts because of kids living in their parents' basements or their grandparents' basements. Listen, we're encouraging early retirements. We have the low labor participation rate. This is what we need to do. Number one, we need to have a growth code, which I have proposed, which says that we're going to reform the taxes to 10, 15, and 25%, and then create a tax cut for people to get the economy moving. Number two, combine all businesses under one tax code and charge it 15%, which at that point, by the way, makes us competitive around the world. Number three, end the death tax once and for all. Get rid of it. Oh, it might not matter to us who are here in this room, but it does matter to somebody who's created a family farm in New Hampshire or a small business and wants to work all their lives to pass it down. That might make a difference. There are a few other things that you can do, no double taxation. This plan, if implemented, will actually grow the economy, not just at the historic level, but above that. GDP would go up 14%. Capital stock would go up 35%. Why do we care about capital stock? Because it creates productivity and makes people more effective in their business and means they'll get higher wages, which means you pay more money into Social Security. Now, this is the big picture problem, not all these little fixes that we've been talking about. We do have to address the benefit problem. You know, the benefits are growing faster than what the rest of the society is being able to grow, particularly in this economy. And that's the truth, because we have put in indexes, not just price indexes or inflation indexes with COLA, but wage indexes, all policy approaches to try to raise the benefits higher than the average American is being able to do. I think that's the benefits are going to have to grow more in line with the growth of the American economy. So if you do those two things, you do what I said at the beginning of this little talk here, which is you begin to put into balance what is necessary. It isn't going to be good for 75 years. If we grow the economy, it'll be good forever. And that's my goal. That's what I want to do as president. So my goal is preserve Social Security by more productivity, more wages, more employees, more full-time people. And if you do those things, then we will protect Social Security for all time, and that is my goal as President of the United States.
So under President Gilmore's administration, could you share with us then at this point how you will work with the Senator Bernie Sanders and the other senators, the many Republicans who are in Congress right now who may have different ideas? How do you get it done?
I was the governor of Virginia, and I ran on a tax cut program to reduce the car tax in Virginia. And when I got in there, the Democrats and the Republicans unanimously helped me cut that car tax. Why? Because I went over their heads to the people of Virginia. And I said, this is what we must do, and this is why. And at the end of the day, real executive leadership led to the implementation of policies in the Congress. You can't go to a congressman that hates you because he's of the other party or because he's not of your political persuasion and just do something in the back room. You got to go out in the public and talk to the people of the United States, senior citizens, and explain that the programs we have will actually be good for Social Security and why, as I have done with you today.